As we enter the temple, I invite all of you to just think you're setting aside some time to be awesome. If you're here in VR, please make this a meditative moment. Really creating this ritual for yourself to get in a mindset that's awesome. And if you're watching on the live stream, you're also creating this space within yourself. So I'm going to ring the bell, line up. If you're on the live stream, just imagine you're here with us. And as we enter, bow to the sacred space within yourself, bow to the enlightened being within yourself, and then let's try and grab a cushion quickly. Excellent. So, welcome everybody. We're going to start with our intention setting. So we're here to cultivate goodness. We're here to cultivate more self-awareness. Perhaps you've had some things in your life where there's some struggle. We're here to find strength or the ability to transform that. Perhaps life's great, and we're here to make it better, to be wiser, to be more loving. You know, your consciousness is amazing. You have the ability to create deep peace, to cultivate beautiful compassion, to practice happiness, to practice joy, to transform attitudes within yourself and others, to make the world a more beautiful place. So let's really set the intention that this time we're going to make it awesome. And it's not just beneficial for you. It's helpful to everyone you speak with. It's helpful to everyone you're around. And the words and the ideas you share, it'll spread. It'll bring more peace to others. Let's imagine a world where everybody has peace within them. Everybody has cultivated kindness. Everyone's feeling empowered. I think all of us, if we look within, we know that's the way the world's meant to be. So let's be the beings that create the way the world is meant to be. All right. So welcome everybody. It's been a busy day. So my intention for today was perhaps to read our reading about the way of the Bodhisattva. Creek, or if someone has that ready, that's a possibility if we're inspired. I also have some thoughts around mindfulness and self-transformation that I wished for us to explore. And I also wanted to open it up to all of you for us just to explore whatever's going on. People on the live stream, if any of you comment from YouTube or Facebook, I should see it here in the chat. So please also, any questions, any thoughts, I want just all to feel part of it. And if you're watching us in the future, may you be inspired and awesome. So, Creek, how do you feel about reading those verses?
So, unfortunately, I have a little friend here who continuously bark. So, I think it might be a little distracting.
All right. I love your joy as you talk about that. Excellent. Well, did anybody else have that reading easily at hand from the Discord? Sorry, I didn't have time to set it up. All right. Well, I'm just going to dive into my thoughts. So the reading that the rest of the this community has been looking at is for those at home, for those who aren't into Buddhism, I'm going to say the words that they use in the Buddhist text, but also try and translate it into just what it means. We don't need to have those words. But yeah, it's the book they've been looking at is the 37 verses of the Bodhisattva. It's 37 concepts that the author happened to write about, and the Bodhisattva. What's a Bodhisattva? Can anyone tell us what a Bodhisattva is? Spicy Neko?
A person on the path to Buddhahood.
Wonderful. I like to think that the Bodhisattva is a little more than that. It's someone who has taken that devotion that they really do want to bring enlightenment to all beings. So it's not someone who's just started on the path. It's someone who's really on the path. And for those people who have no idea what Buddhahood means, people who think that just sounds like some religious thing, what does that mean? Anyone? Well, I want to describe what it means to me. So it's a person who has chosen to live with compassion and kindness for all beings. It's a person who has learned to watch their mind and not be caught up in any habits of mind that hurt them, not be caught up in any attitudes that are not real, to just always be present and just to bring their best self, their creativity and their peace to every situation. Depending on the personality, you might see different expressions of that Buddhahood, that Christ-likeness, that saintliness, that optimized consciousness. Maybe they're vibrantly joyful. Maybe they're assertive and powerful. Maybe they're unshakably calm. There's the eightfold path, the 8 areas of our life that we strive to do well in every section, so that each word is chosen to be good, that each thought is chosen to be helpful, that we put our attention and effort into things that are helpful all the time, that we meditate and we watch our mind in a way to cultivate the most beautiful mind possible. So you could imagine a being who has really dedicated to purify each part of their life, their words, their actions, their job, their attention, their effort, their focus. If you've created each part of those, or if you've created so that each aspect of yourself is as sweet, as good, as aware, as powerful as possible, you could say that's Buddhahood. Some people may claim that it means something bigger, something else, but I like to keep it a very practical, achievable thing. So I just want everyone to take a moment to think about your mind and your awareness and your moment-to-moment living. What were you like today? And if you were crafting the most amazing day, I hope even if your day was great, even if how you were was great, you could imagine that you would have consciously created an even more peaceful day, or an even more powerful day, or a more productive day. For those regulars who know Ekis, he just sent us a prayer and a love heart on the live stream. Welcome, Ekis. We love you.
Oh, love you, Ekis.
Ekis and I were having a conversation recently about a friend who he invited here, who just thought what we were saying just sounded just too far-fetched, like happy clappy nonsense. And I've been thinking about that a lot. Sometimes we talk about a simple way to relax when things are stressful, and sometimes we talk about pretty profound things, completely transforming your mind, enlightenment, far out stuff. And I just want to say to anyone who is observing us, imagine you went to a math community and they started talking about like 1 + 1 and multiplication, and you weren't very good at numbers, but you could see, oh yeah, I imagine with a bit of practice I could see that any group of numbers, this times this is that. And then they start talking about multi-dimensional calculus and working out precisely how things will happen with multiple variables. It may sound like fantasy, or you may be able to see, oh yeah, I can see that there's multiple steps to be able to get there and be able to be certain about things in different scenarios. So I hope that whatever we talk about, it always sounds practical and achievable. And if there's ever a time where it feels like it's beyond your current skills, you respond within yourself, okay, there are some steps there that I need to learn how to do. I hope nothing we say ever sounds like just some fantasy. It's always practical and achievable, even when I'm saying far out things. And I want all of us to consider, when you're sharing benefits you've found from practicing, some people will hear that you were able to find peace, or that you were able to change a bad habit, and they'll be like, oh wow, that's great, that's beautiful. And some people will say, oh, it's just luck, or it's just a coincidence, or whatever. So trying to find ways that we can share the positive changes we have had from practicing, it's a beautiful art form. It's a skillful means of how to share that we can train our mind, we can train our feelings, we can practice being more aware, which then changes how we respond to every moment. And we can get really good at that, which can completely change how we feel each moment, or how we respond to each situation. So I hope in what I was just saying, some of it was inspiring of like, how could I share this with others? And then part of it was also inspiring you that there's greater enlightenment, mental empowerment. I want you to be envisaging, practicing more happiness each day, more bliss every day. When you think about your mind and your awareness, I want you to be practicing being more aware. transforming any ideas about yourself that aren't awesome to just be feeling more awesome and more liberated every single day. So it's not just how we share it with others, it's also how we think about it for ourselves. So on that note, I'd love to hear people's thoughts, questions, experiences. Spicy Neko.
So before in our previous sessions that we've had together, I've discussed how through the practice of mindfulness, one is able to experience situations with like a different perspective, more so than people would do when they're in like a baseline non-mindful perspective. So I have a situation that reflects that pretty well. That happened this past weekend. I had some like issues with my unemployment benefits card where some money was taken out of the account from like a hacker, I'd assume. And while normally like a situation like that would be enough to cause like intense great anxiety and like make me like shut down and like give up and be like really defeatist and stuff, I've noticed that like through the mindfulness that we've all been cultivating as a sangha, that I've been able to look at the situation like more level-headed, and I was able to resolve most of it today. But the point, a key point I was making or wanted to make was like this past weekend, it was very peculiar because I noticed the tension. I wasn't even meditating. I was just kind of like in bed, just laying there. I noticed the tension like within my chest, like from that situation. Because it was like it was still a little stressful at that moment. But at some random point, I just remember it like kind of like letting it go and letting it be as it was. And then once that happened, I felt like a lot more empowered about it as a whole. And it's really incredible to just be able to like experience that, like know that change like is possible, like from within with a mindful perspective.
Awesome. I like how you said you weren't even meditating. You just became aware of your body. And not only can we be aware of what's going on in our body and then choose to like release the tension, we'll also become aware of sometimes of a thought or a feeling that we just happen to be caught up in, and we can also release that. And I hope all of us can imagine, as we keep practicing mindfulness, that awareness and that being able to step out of reactions that are tense, or step out of thoughts that don't help us, or notice deep held beliefs that don't help us and step out. I hope we could all imagine that would become faster and easier and more all the time. So we're just in this ever flowing state of well-being and ease. And Spicy, I'm really glad that this time that could have been difficult for you was you found a way to just be at peace, and I'm sure then you dealt with the situation a lot better as well. Am I right?
Absolutely. In fact, even the customer service person that I was talking to, she was really nice because she was from the South and had like that Southern accent. She was like, you got a good head on your shoulders. Like, keep that up, because I always try to be kind to the people that are, I talk to on the phone that are in customer service, because it's easier for them, it's easier for you. But the funny thing was, I called after we did the morning session with Zenke. And like, I think that was part of the reason why I was able to just like power through what I needed to do and getting that situation resolved, and not being like stressed or worried about it that much, or I should say, choosing to respond to the stressful like feelings or situations differently. Hope it makes sense.
It did to me.
Perfect. Yeah, I really like it, honestly. Like, it's one thing when you like live your life thinking like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm born this way, or I'm always going to be like this, or I'm set in my ways or something. But like when one, cultivates mindfulness, um, it's like incredibly empowering. It's subtle, but it's like incredibly empowering just knowing like that you can like look at and respond to like any situation you come across in like a different way that would like benefit you or maybe the other person or just like society as a whole. I'm really glad to be here to experience that.
Well, we're glad you're here too. I wanted to share a little thought about that. There are people who practice mindfulness, but then they don't have the idea of being able to step out of it and do something else. So they just practice just seeing. So I definitely know mindfulness practitioners who would have been like, oh, I'm tense. And then just be there with the idea of I'm tense. And there is the idea that we've had in this group of being able to step out of it and do something else. And Spicy, it might have even been you that used those exact words a few weeks ago. And every time you say that, you're going to be better at that. And every time as a group say it, if you take the time to feel it and think about that you heard that, you're going to have that more. So it's not just the practice. It's the practice with the ideas that we bring. A few weeks ago, we did an epic compassion meditation. And compassion's great, feeling kindness and good vibes to people. But one of the things I said as I was guiding the meditation was imagine you're going down the street and every person you see, you just have this overflowing wish for their joy. And the next day I was riding my bike around the neighborhood and I just really noticed every person I saw, I wish love for them and I wish love for them. And I was like, love, compassion is so good. And then it hit me the day before I had said those words in the meditation and boom, I was having that aspect of compassion being really vibrant. So it's something to think about as we practice. What are the parts that you want to make vibrant? What are the parts that are going to be awesome for you? When there's a class and many things being said, the bits that you think will be most helpful, really feel them. Make them louder in your mind. Imagine saying it to yourself more, feeling it more, emphasize it so that you make the best out of it. We can also take that approach, not just in a class, but in every moment of your day. Whoever you're speaking to, if you're on the path to enlightenment, whatever anyone says, you can always be finding the thought or the feeling or the tone of voice or the way of being that's more awesome. So whichever situation you're in, you're just feeding yourself more enlightenment. You could be talking to someone who's completely down in the dumps. And that conversation, as you bring out love, your best self, you feel it even stronger. Or maybe they say some little gem of wisdom, boom, and you use that to transform your life. That may sound far out, but I've definitely had times where I could be talking to someone who's homeless or very angry, and they say something intense that has an element of truth to it. And because I'm taking this attitude of taking the wisdom from everywhere, I hear that element of truth so strongly that it's stuck with me for months and was such a powerfully positive thing. So I wish for each of us to be on this path to enlightenment, that every moment, every interaction, anyone and everyone is filling your life with so many possibilities for joy, for awesomeness, for wisdom. And to anyone who thinks that sounds far out, there are people who will hear that and it will happen for them. There are people who will hear that and it might be like a bit beyond where your current practice or mindset is. But even some of those people will just notice that it starts to happen to them because the idea's there in your mind. Always be open to awesomeness. In some of these discussions, there might be a comment of complete mindfulness being able to transform any limiting beliefs. May sound too far out, but then you might just start noticing that week that you start to see, oh yeah, I think in these situations I'm like that. Whoa, that's a limiting belief. I'm going to change it. And just bang, you practice something else and it changes. Always be open. There's something that sounds more far out than where your current mind is. You may just be able to do it now that that idea is there inside of you. It also got me thinking, those words of being down the street and just wishing love to everybody. I was thinking, I want to collect more very doable positive things and try and share those doable positivities. That we can smile when we take a breath. That when we meet people, we can have a feeling of wishing them joy, and that makes our time with them more lovely. And as a group, I hope we're finding these gems, doable, simple, wonderful ways of being that are living enlightenment. And the more that we just talk about them, share them with others, the more it becomes part of our shared culture. Oh, Eckes shared with us, his father always told him, no matter how much of an idiot you may think someone is, there's a small piece of genius in everyone. Thank you, Eckes. That's encapsulated what I was trying to say. Thank you. Creek, was that a high five or was that something you wanted to share?
It can be both. I do have something I'd like to share.
Please.
Okay, so I've been practicing presence, compassion for some time, and I've noticed recently within the past couple weeks, something I've coined for myself is every day has the same sensation now as like summer vacation. There's a wonderful easement found in every moment, at work, in every conversation. It's just an unexpected fruit of the practice that I'd like to share. It's been wonderful.
I am going to try and reiterate that again with pauses for each person to feel what you shared. And then let me know if you want to improve or polish what I said. So, Creek has found this daily reminder, this daily feeling that life has this sensation of ease, like a beautiful holiday. Imagine that each day, each moment, you just had this feeling arise of, oh, life's beautiful. And you can know that just by thinking about it, you're making that happen more. It's like, how good is that? Right now, you're actually filling your life, your future, with more of these beautiful, spontaneous moments. Creek, is there any part of what you said where you'd like to emphasize?
No, that's wonderful. Yeah. every moment is as profound and as present as you are. There's a wonderful quote that I like, and it's, "The horizon walks with you." The whole world is found within your experience. Enjoy it.
What does that mean for you, that the horizon walks with you?
That I am the condition for all the things that are happening. Anything I experience is conditional on me experiencing it. There's nothing beyond the scope of what's happening now. So there's nothing to be surprised about, nothing to fear. It's just wonderful.
So, welcome everybody, especially those who just joined us. We have been talking about just how nice it is when we've been practicing meditation, when we've been practicing mindfulness or positive attitudes, just that we have these nice moments in our day when hard things come up, where we can step out of it and relax and then deal with it better. Or when you have this idea that life is becoming more enlightened, that each day you have these really nice moments because your mind, your ideas just go to feelings of goodness. Or maybe you've imagined in this kind of situation, I'm great. And then suddenly in those situations, you're great, or you're happy, or you're at ease. Just how beautiful it is that we can practice that and it transforms our life. It's such a beautiful thing. So I'm feeling like in a moment, it's time for me to guide a meditation, a practice. Is there any last thoughts or questions before we dive into our practice? All right. Now, just a thought around meditation. There are so many ways to begin a meditation. There are guided imagery, there's muscle tensing and relaxing, there's watching the breath, but with the idea that your mind will become calm and go centered in the meditation. There's singing or chanting. There are all these different ways to get yourself into the meditation. And I found from trying many, some of them will really shift your state of mind and you'll be in a meditation. Some of them you'll feel deep stillness and awareness. Some of them you'll feel really inspired. Some of them leave people's minds still just wandering around. So I just invite you, whenever you go to meditate, notice how you take yourself into meditation. Or notice the person who's guiding the meditation. What are the ideas they give you? Or how do they guide your awareness? Or the tone of their voice, how does it shift how you feel? And practice being able to move into those really nice states. And remember the ways that you can get yourself into the different state of mind. So that's the intro or the induction, stepping into the meditation. And then what do we do in the meditation? Some people will just enjoy the good feelings. Some people will take the good feelings and not just enjoy them, but feel it becoming part of them, knowing that they'll have those good feelings at other times. Some people will watch their consciousness really closely to see how a thought turns to an image, turns to a feeling, where their attention comes back to, how they can control their attention, the little micro moment where their attention travels and when they recapture it and recontrol it. Some people will spend time in kindness meditation and just grow the feeling of love and kindness and send it here and send it there and transform this part of themselves to be more loving. Some people will sing songs of bliss or goodness or devotion, and as they sing, just let their mind, let their feelings be inspired. What we do in meditation, to me, that's like an art form. There's so many ways of doing meditation, like so many styles of music or so many styles of painting. So what you practice in the meditation, what I've found is what you practice is what you get. And I like the idea of being an artist or a designer or a brain programmer. If you're practicing beautiful enlightenment, you're drawing a picture in your mind of you being at ease and blissful, or you're programming yourself, how is it to be at ease and blissful? That's what you'll be practicing. That's what you'll be creating in your inner world. For those of you who've only practiced here, I hope you've been exposed to many wonderful ideas. For those of you who've practiced in many different places, or you've just noticed the mindset in general around the world, there are ideas, there are feelings that are less helpful. So I hope we become very mindful. What ideas are around? What are the impact of those ideas? And which ones do we want to cultivate? Which ones do we want to practice? So like all good stories, there's a start, there's a middle and an ending. And so as we end meditations, there is the way that you wake up, the way that you stretch. Maybe you've been deep in meditation, so it's a good time to make some decisions or to remind yourself of the best moments. Maybe it's a way to really notice that you've been practicing seeing your awareness and then bring that into your day. How do you keep noticing being aware in each moment as you look around, as you decide what to say? So, to reiterate, there's the way we go into the meditation, there's what we practice, and then there's how we come out. And each one of those chapters, it's an art form. There's so many ways to do each one. So let's now begin today's meditation, and I invite you to enjoy it. So let's all get our bodies comfortable. As we start the beginning of this meditation, I invite you to imagine peace, relaxation. For you to imagine not just a nice meditation, but that you're going to take yourself into something that's more than you would normally imagine. So we've just begun our meditation. We're taking ourselves in. So as you get yourself really comfortable, notice how you can shift how you feel. Perhaps you can try making your breathing slower and deeper. You could try noticing the speed or the tone of your thoughts, of your inner voice, and just let your mind become more soothing, more peaceful. You may like to imagine what your consciousness would be like if everything was still and calm. You may like to imagine what it would be like if you really believed that inside everyone was a blissfully enlightened mind, that inside of us was perfect wisdom, and we just had to peel away a layer to be with that wisdom. What it would be like to just allow that wisdom to fill your awareness. And some of you are in the meditation, and each breath, each moment, just let yourself dive even deeper, more beautifully. And some of you are just starting, and so then I invite you to notice your mind and notice how to catch it and take it into peace. Notice how to bring your attention into practicing what will be amazing for you. You may already are in deep meditation. You could do the same thing. What would it be like to get your consciousness even more into enlightenment? And as you take your mind into meditation, each breath, focusing on the breath, each feeling, each thought, each moment of awareness, letting it become more beautiful, more strong. What state of mind would you want to practice? Each moment, practicing the consciousness that you could take into your life. Perhaps you'd like to be a wildly assertive, expressive person. You could practice that in an enlightened way. Perhaps you want to feel at peace and present in every moment. Feel every breath filled with that perfect peace and presence. Let yourself imagine the most enlightened state of consciousness that you can. For some of you, that's profound and amazing. For some of you, that's ease and peace. Just each breath you take, become more into that power of your freedom, power of your creativity. Imagine if the whole world was sitting here meditating with us. And imagine if everyone could feel your intention. Would you wish for everybody peace, ease, wisdom? Each breath you take, feel transforming yourself cultivating that which you will share with the world? Or what would it even be like if you were transforming the world right now? Maybe you've moved into beautiful states of mind, or maybe you've started to think of some parts of your life. If you're in the beautiful states of mind, let them be more strong and powerful. If your mind has started to contemplate some part of your life, I invite you to imagine that part being great, rather than thinking through things as you think about them now. Let your consciousness be more awesome. Imagine it being great, you being wise, getting things better. So then you'll work out how to be, how to think, how to speak. Each moment of the meditation, just noticing your awareness, giving yourself peace, letting yourself practice bringing your best self into wherever your consciousness goes. You may like to take your attention onto attention itself. Practice your mind being so aware, feeling so free, feeling able to imagine anything, able to practice anything, feelings of bliss, lightness, freedom, ease. And if you're in a purely positive state, try and level that up. Maybe you could imagine all of those bodhisattvas throughout history, all the people who've envisaged an enlightened world and practiced profoundly wonderful feelings and wise ways of being. And not just from the culture which uses bodhisattva as a word. You could imagine all the saints, all the great philosophers, all the brilliant life engineers. You could imagine all their well wishes for you. But maybe some of you might have noticed that your mind was caught in something that was less than bliss and enlightenment. And I invite you to imagine what your life would be like if you just completely let go of that. If that part of your life was just deleted and gone. Any time that takes up.
And you, Jax, can I go to you after?
Imagine that no matter what happens, you'll always be able to just step even deeper into directing your own consciousness. All the time that you would give to yourself by letting go of those things that don't serve you. All the ease and lightness. So for the next few breaths, we're just going to purely focus on the breath. Let all thoughts and ideas just settle. All we do is hear and feel the breath. And as that starts to work, you're having those moments where your mind is just soothed, just breath. Dive into that even more. The mind is just stillness, it's just breath, just peace in the moment. A few more breaths deeper into that peace. And then I invite you to ask yourself, what would be most helpful for me to meditate on right now? What would be most helpful for me to meditate on right now? what would be most helpful for me to meditate on right now. You can stay with that question. So you look deep within and feel that goodness happening. Or maybe the answer has already arisen. Let yourself make that part of you as free, as creative, as strong as possible. Take some deeper breaths. What would be most helpful for me to meditate on right now? And in what way would meditating on this help me the most right now? If you're already deep in meditation, I invite you to imagine what would an even more enlightened mind do with this question? What would be most helpful for me to meditate on right now? And if you've just arrived, we're just letting our mind settle on this question. What could I practice right now that would be helpful? What feeling could I practice? Or what part of my life could I practice being a different way? Or maybe what's an attitude that would make my life great? So if you've just arrived, first let yourself settle into the meditation. Or maybe if you've been here for a little while, imagine going even more powerfully into the meditation. Some deep breaths. Or if you're already deep in the meditation, imagine tuning into your most enlightened mind with each breath. Perfect peace, perfect calm, knowing that you can imagine anything, you can practice anything. Every role model you've ever seen, every piece of wisdom is at your mental fingertips right now. Meditating into your wisest self. We'll have just another couple of minutes. What could I practice right now that would be most helpful for me? And how could I practice it in a way that would be most helpful for me? And then as we begin to come out of the meditation, maybe you'd like to remember the moments that were nicest to take yourself in. Maybe you'd like to remember the nice feelings. Maybe you'd like to affirm to yourself that you are amazing at guiding your consciousness. Maybe you'd like to remember some helpful thoughts or some powerful moments or some decisions that you made. Maybe you'd like to re-practice what it is to have your consciousness feeling empowered, and imagine having that empowered consciousness in every moment of your life. We're going to take 5 more powerful, refreshing breaths. And after those 5 breaths, you can come out of the meditation how you wish. Stretches or peace or mindfulness. And as we come back to the temple, back into our awareness, back into the live stream shared with the people here, I encourage us whenever we finish meditation to take a moment to celebrate it, to remember the good moments. Well, as we guide our discussion, I always ask us to start with the most beautiful feelings, the insights, the inspiration, so that when we think of meditation, we train ourselves that you're good at it, that it's beautiful, that it's helpful. And if there's any other questions or anything else, we can do that after our celebration, after our positive sharing. So, I would love people to share anything they got from the meditation. Perhaps when I asked, what's the most helpful thing for you to meditate on, you might like to share what arose for you. Or maybe you'd like to share any other nice moments or experiences or insights. So I'm just going to wait, let people have time to formulate how they'd like to share. And now it's over to everybody. Too handsome? Hey. Would you like to share something?
Yeah, sure. Um, so I guess what was most helpful for me was using the diaphragm to breathe, focusing on my breath. It takes me to sometimes very peaceful states. Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely. Sorry I didn't respond. I was just trying to feel what you said and the soothingness of my diaphragm moving. So thank you for sharing. You know what I love about what you just shared is when I asked what's most helpful for us to meditate on, I was thinking of, I'll be more calm around my auntie, or I'll feel focused in math class, or some aspect of our life. And I love that for you, you were meditating on making your meditation more soothing. And it's just wonderful that meditation will do different things for different people, and that it can be such a beautiful variety of experiences. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. Yeah.
And even for different times. Maybe you'll have that today, and maybe tomorrow something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Would someone else like to share? I'd like to share. There was a moment for me where I was meditating on peace and approaching life with well-being, and my mind started to think of these debates I've been having online recently about current affairs, well, particularly around the pandemic and what scientists say and what propagandists say. And I've been finding myself debating with people who are promoting misinformation, and it's been making me have moments of frustration, or so I was trying to imagine being a better communicator or more convincing. And then I think I said to everybody, hey, imagine this hard thing just responding in a much better way. But then the next one thing I said soon after that was, well, imagine if this hard part of your life, if you just deleted it. What would it be like if you just didn't waste time on this hard thought, or if this confusing thing, just this liberation? And I just imagined me spending my time in conversations with people I love and minds that I respect. And it was just this feeling of total, like, hours more every day or week that I'd have to just love life and to build a culture that's awesome and brilliant and wise. So that just felt super liberating for me. So I hope if any of you were thinking of something that's been like caught up in your life, you are able to imagine what it'd be like to just let go of that, to do something else, to think something else. So that was a freeing moment for me. And as I say it, I feel like I need to decide or imagine a little more when I am drawn into those conversations or thoughts. How can I more powerfully remind myself, hey, there are people I love to talk to, and there are more important things to talk about. So in terms of like keeping meditation real, we can have beautiful moments, and sometimes, boom, they work, they transform us. And sometimes we have to practice them. And do it. If you have an insightful moment, practice it like you're practicing for some world championship. Practice it till it's automatic. Level up your life. Like when I say practice it, I mean every day. Spend a few minutes. Imagine being awesome at that change you thought of. The bliss, the joy, the ease that will bring you. And as I say that, I'm trying to see where I can fit that into my day to practice having the conversations that I love, focusing my time on the communities that are awesome, feeling joyful and wonderful of all the people in my life, engaging with the people where I'm amazed by the brilliance of their minds. Yeah, as I keep saying it, I'm inspiring myself. So, I hope you also do the same thing with yourself. If there's ever a good idea, try and articulate it more. Keep giving yourself different positive thoughts around it to inspire yourself to make it more easy, to make it more automatic. So there we go. There's my sharing. Would anyone else like to share what was your most helpful moment, or any insights you had, or anything nice about the way we went into meditation? Moss?
Yes. So, as we started this meditation, as I've practiced meditation before, all I felt were surges of goosebumps all over my body with every breath. It was a interesting feeling to have in a group session with everybody. I don't know if you would understand, but it's almost euphoric.
What I love as I hear you say that is, first it was just the words, and then I imagined goosebumps, and then I imagined what it must have felt like to have goosebumps. So I was suddenly having these waves of goosebumps and excitement and goodness. And then I noticed, hey, wow,
Yeah.
my mind took myself into that. And I was like, wow, it's wild how where you take your attention or where you take your imagination creates it. And you started by saying you already meditate, so you're already able to take yourself into beautiful things. And that kind of inspired me to love it more and imagine feeling it more. I am curious,
Yeah.
in the way that I introduced the meditation, what was it that inspired the goosebumps? Or maybe you get goosebumps every time you meditate. I'd love to hear your more about it, your experience.
Well, this is the first time I've been here, and I'm wearing a VR headset, so the music, the ambience, and everything. And I think it's your voice, most of all, that was able to help me just dive right into the meditation. It's very calm, and there's nothing ambitious or forcing about it. It kind of just let me do my thing, if you could understand that.
Beautiful. So I do have the ambition that all beings will be completely enlightened and liberated. But in each moment of the meditation, I want us to give ourselves the freedom and the peace to explore it and create it in our own ways. But yeah, thank you so much for saying the peace in my voice. It's definitely something I've practiced. I've imagined guiding meditations to share beautiful feelings with people. And I've had wise monks point out the tone of the voice as I've practiced the tone of the voice, carrying the beautiful meditation. So I'm so glad that it was able to help you. Ollie Star?
Um. Uh. With this meditation, ended up going unintentionally. I ended up going very, very deep into meditation for most of that, and I kind of at one point I kind of just I kind of just lost everything but the present moment and just kind of existed, and it was very calming. At one point it felt like I might even fall out of my own body or something. It was very interesting.
Whoa.
You know what I love about that is, for those of us who've had a lot of meditations, you've probably had some moments where they're amazing, and so you might be able to relate or remember something similar or imagine something like that. And as someone who hasn't meditated at all, that might just sound absurd. It's just so wild that meditation can create these such different states of mind. And I'm so glad that you got to be in that perfect peace. I hope that that peace is something you have now practiced, so you have more of that presence all the time. And I also hope that anytime you need one breath, you can step into that freedom. All past habits, all beliefs you have about yourself, you can just stop them all. Be that place of freedom. Any moment you need. I hope that you can carry that into your life as a truly enlightening part of yourself. And I intentionally say those because as I say that, you imagine it, and then it becomes more a part of your possibilities. Part of all of our possibilities. Mr. Creek?
Yes. So may the little puppy bring you joy as I speak. So I was playing around with different ways of imagining the mind. And I've always really enjoyed imagining the mind like a forest. And the habits and things that we have, you could imagine them as trees. Some more firmly rooted than others. And so I was just wandering around this image of the mind, and just was really appreciating the idea of planting new trees or picking small weeds. It was really nice.
You know, as I hear that, I think of tending to this garden or to this forest. And I think of all the beautiful flowers and the strong, wise trees. But I also heard of deeply rooted things from the past that may be less helpful. And I was imagining more powerful transformations in the forest. You could bring in a gardening service that can chop down trees, or you could bring in a logging factory that could just clear out a whole section. And I was like, well, that's pretty brutal. But there are some trees that I definitely would love to just be able to just pull out that whole tree. And if I look at my past practice, there was times where I would be breathing and then I'd notice some like epically strong, not so helpful thing from my past. And I'd just come back to my breath in freedom, and boom, I could feel all those deep roots and thoughts and emotions around that bad habit just gone. So I was thinking, if I was going with the metaphor, I didn't really want a logging company to come and like chop down these sections. So then I started to imagine some of those Hollywood movies where there's like a wizard who could bend space and time, who's like be able to take this bit of the garden and just like shift the soil and let that tree just expand out into the universe, and like more amazing trees appear that are 1,000 years old. And I was trying to imagine the visual, emotional way of experiencing a powerfully enlightened, transformative forest that was also beautiful and warm as I approached it. Creek, can you relate to that?
Yes. And I've been, the way that I've been, I guess, using the practice of emptiness to help me transform the habits in my mind is knowing that I don't own the trees and I can just walk past them, good and bad ones. I can plant new ones wherever, find beauty wherever. Infinite space, just walking around and with gentle motions, finding ways to make it more beautiful. And if there is, in this metaphor, a big tree that is unhelpful, I think even suffering we can transform into a practice. And because I don't own the tree, I can learn from it and keep walking.
I'm just playing around with the camera, and I guess that's a good metaphor for how we play around with our thoughts and our mind. There we go. Spicy Neko?
I don't have anything in particular to share in regards to the results of the meditation, but I have to actually head offline right now, so I wanted to give like a proper goodbye to everybody before I left.
Bye, Spicy.
Spicy?
Love you.
See ya.
Spicy, could we all take a deep breath together just to honor that you were here and that all the good you cultivated will be great? Let's all bring our hands to our heart and take a deep breath. Wish Spicy well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Love you so much.
May you all be well. You all have a wonderful day, and I hope I see you at next week's session, and I'll see you on Wednesday's session too, and of course you as well. Goodbye, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you. As Spicy just mentioned, this community has many sessions a week. We have a Discord group where there's many discussions throughout the week. This virtual world is always here, and there's at least 3 classes where teachers are here and the community gathers. Everyone's welcome. And we invite you and your friends to come and join. And as I said, I want to keep it real. If you are dedicated to enlightenment, awesome. Come and share your love and inspire everybody. If you're struggling and angry, come and share that and see how the community could help you. If you're a skeptic, come and help refine so that we can think more accurately and inspire ourselves in ways that are more real. This community is, for me, it's to be as awesome as possible for everybody. There's a saying in Buddhism, may all beings be happy. And I try to take that saying seriously. Does anyone else have something they'd like to share? And we've also shared enough positive things now. If someone had like a hard moment or a question, I'd also love to hear it now. Especially anyone on the live stream. Please, everybody welcome. I want to share a moment. Maladjusted, it's nice to have you here again. A few weeks ago, we had a compassion meditation, and I don't know if you were here with us or if you had just left your avatar sleeping in the corner here, but for the whole session, you were just chilling there while we had the most epic meditation of compassion for the whole universe. And I was just imagining your avatar just soaking up all this love as it just chilled in the corner the whole time. So it's nice to have you here and awake with us this time. So I have a question. I want you to think about your life, the scenarios you're in, the strengths, the hard times, the friendships, the work relationships, any relationships. Think about your life, and as you look at it, is there anything you want to ask about? Something that's tricky? How would you be more enlightened in this part? Let's make it real. This practice we're doing. If you think the question's too intense or too hard, please ask it. Or if you think, oh, that's mild, please ask it. Let's apply enlightenment to really enrich our lives. Bueller. Hey Monster, welcome.
Hello.
So I was just asking everybody, we just finished our meditation and sharing the nice moments from the meditation. So I was asking everybody, is there any part of your life where we want to talk about how would you apply enlightenment to it? What's a hard moment or a hard situation? How would you deal with that better? Or what's a way of thinking about your mind or about your meditation practice where you want to be better at it? What's some situation that keeps coming up where you could be more enlightened there? So I was just asking everybody to think about any part of you, any part of your life, any part of your relationships where you know it could be better, and to ask about it. And let's enlighten that part of you.
Sounds interesting. Are you asking me or?
I'm asking you and everybody here.
Oh, okay. Why I could give an example, I guess.
Yes, please. You arrived right on time.
I mean, I noticed like if I get really tired after a long day of like doing hard work, that my patience does wear thin sometimes, and I do need to. I don't like have like a cranky outburst or anything like that, but within myself, I do get like more agitated. So I remember the last one of the previous talks you gave where you said you could like make a choice on how you react to things. That's always a choice. So I think applying that is something that I'm personally trying to work on myself.
Awesome. So I have two thoughts that I want to share. So one is to have that choice to respond instead of, what was it, cranky, the word you used? Instead of that, to respond with something else. So there's two parts to that. One is deciding what is that something else. So you're ready to respond with kindness or with a laugh or with a deep breath. So you don't have to like decide what it is in the moment. Already have primed yourself with some alternative. And also, we just did a meditation. Someone went into perfect stillness and pure being. Someone else had a feeling of being able to bring calm to their body very well. Someone else was reminded that their life is a vacation of beauty in each moment. So the more we practice meditation, the more these nice states are available to us. Someone who already left said that they just keep noticing when they get caught in some bad reaction, they're just better and better at stepping out of it. They particularly mentioned the tension in their body tonight, and they just released that, and then there's this like sense of ease or freedom. So all these examples I'm giving is the more we practice mindfulness or ease or well-being, the more available it is to us all the time. So I've said two things. One is deciding in advance what are some alternative reactions than the grumpiness. And one is practicing mindfulness, practicing peace, practicing ease. And those two together, deciding and practicing, will make it much more available. But I also want to share another idea. This idea of self-image or story. So everyone can imagine somebody who, when they get tired, it's easier for them to be cranky. It's pretty easy to imagine a person like that. But can you also imagine someone who, when they get tired, they just kind of giggle at everything and just laugh at everything? Or maybe you can imagine someone that when they're tired, if something's a bit too intense, they're just like, I just want to chill now. So Monster, this third example I'm giving is maybe imagine a different story. What's a different way of being for you when you're feeling tired? Maybe you become the kind of person who just laughs at everything. Or maybe you become the kind of person that when anything's not great, your reaction is just like, I just want to chill now. So I guess this different story is kind of also similar to my first one of kind of deciding what your alternative is. But one was just the idea, and one was the story or the self-image.
Yeah, I think that's like a self-projection that we have of ourselves, isn't it? Where like we think we're this or that, and then we kind of become what we like almost impose on ourselves. I think what you're saying.
Yeah, like you might not have this story that you're grumpy when you're tired, or maybe you do, but you definitely have that habit. Well, I want to rephrase that. In the past, you had that habit. And in this moment right now, I hope somewhere inside of you feels that you can have a different habit.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible for sure.
And as well as the possibility, I want you to envisage what some of those possibilities are, and for you to feel those possibilities in yourself, and to feel that next time there's one of those moments, you giggle, or you're like, yeah, I just want to chill, I'm tired now. Or you're like, I'm finding this strength inside myself. Even though I'm tired, my mind is infinitely powerful. What is the most wise way I want to react right now? I'm just trying to prime you with these possibilities. And right now, as I'm saying them, I'm trying to say them powerfully so that every one of us gets a chance to envisage it and practice it. And whichever ones you like, or whichever ones you come up with, I want you to imagine and feel them and practice them every day for a few weeks until, bam, Monster's the kind of person that when he's tired, he's inside unshakably chill, the most chill dude in the universe. Or whatever it is you would choose to be. I don't want to impose that as the way you are, but I want you to be inspired by the possibility and then practice all the possibilities that you like.
I mean, I could be like Austin Powers, you know. Yeah, baby.
Tell us more.
I'm just joking around.
Yeah, I like that.
But I mean, I'm being serious too, though. You know, like just kind of have a different attitude, which is, you know, it's something I gotta work on for sure.
Something to work on kind of phrases it like it's going to be work. I'm trying to inspire that when you think about it, it's something for you to enjoy. It's a creative space for you to spend time in. It's a way to feel... imagine if for the rest of your life from right now, whenever you were tired, no matter what happened, you were like Austin Powers, just flying in your spaceship. Booyah. Oh wait, that was Dr. Evil. I don't know the movie very well, but like when you're tired, you're just like the most chill dude in the universe. Like how good would that be? So when you go to think about it, when you go to meditate on it, boom, I want you to...
Shall we bring you some food when we come back in about 15 or 25 minutes?
Yes, please. So imagine like every time you think about it, it's just like, yeah, that'd be cool. Oh yeah. And you let the cool take over. So there's no more practicing of the work or the grumpiness. It's only practicing the cool, the yeah, the the good connections, the feeling that, hey, the people around you feel like you're such a comfort, such a always good vibe that they can talk to you all the time. Like, just let yourself love everything about the idea that you're creating. Let yourself feel the good vibes all the time. The old thing's gone. And maybe that habit might pop up every now and then, but everything about the way you think about it, everything about the way you practice it, it's just Austin Powers, baby. I wish I knew more of his catchphrases. Yeah, but you...
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, right on. When you're tired, you're like a big fluffy shag carpet.
Yes.
Now, in terms of keeping it real, I want to know if what I just said... So for Creek, he's been a bunch. He gets the idea about practicing. He's nodding his head. He could feel how that was a very usable answer. But I want to know for Monster and for everybody else, is what I said, did it sound super practical, something you could practice and be? And especially if there's anyone who it didn't sound like that, I want to make it more real, more applicable for everybody. Or if Monster's super happy, maybe someone else has another question. So what do you think, Monster? How was that answer?
I think it's good. I like what you said about it not being like work, more like a creative process. I think that's pretty good. Sort of shaping myself more like a sculpture as opposed to hitting a nail with a hammer or something where it's got to be a certain way or something. It's kind of maybe more like flow with it. I think that this morning. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Beautiful. And you think it makes sense? Does it also feel good?
Well, it's less burdensome that way, to put it that way. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's
All
two
right,
ways
dude.
you could
Imagine
approach
that
it
you're
where
tired, and here I am in your face. Come on. Blah, 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 blah. See, and you're laughing. It's so much better.
It worked.
Yay.
It was good advice.
Creek, you have something you want to say, or?
Yeah. Two things. One, it should be mandatory that we all have a viewing of The Matrix.
Actually, I really want to have a viewing of The Matrix and talk about how to see that film from the idea of programming your mind and mindfulness, stepping out of the programming, stepping out of the matrix. It's 100% what we can do. Spicy Neko mentioned today noticing the stuff he was caught in and stepping out of it. Boom, that's totally what they do in the Matrix. And then they're free to reprogram themselves and be amazing. Yes, we should do that as a team.
Plus, it's a great movie. The second thing I was gonna say is, from what I understand, I think they're called, I'm gonna get the name wrong, but there's,
Creek, before you say it, just tell me you're going to get the name right.
I'm gonna get the name right.
Yeah, what is it?
When I remember. I can't remember.
Yes, you can. You know it.
Now.
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna call it the... I can describe them first.
Cool, and then you'll remember the name.
Yes. So in Buddhism, what is known as the law of becoming, impermanence, and emptiness all culminate in what I like to call the translucent nature of experience. When we understand all the things in the universe are always changing all the time, us included. When we understand that we, our human bodies, are conditional on all of these things. That there's nothing within us that if we pulled it out, we'd lose our suchness. And that we're all together in this process. So there's no stickiness. And that leaves open, you could consider it an open hand or an empty glass, a clear glass of water, where, like in the Matrix, everything that we do, in quotation marks, normally, is usually through things that we've been taught, or taught by conditions in the world. The true nature of who we are is up to us at any moment. And what a wonderful practice to be able to step into that translucent sort of state.
I hope people got something wonderful from that. I was trying to adjust the camera to be on you, Krieg, so I missed it. But I'm just going to leave it as that for the magic that it was. So we're almost out of time. So I would like to guide a very quick meditation, and then we're going to finish with our dedication, and then we'll have our social time outside. I'll finish the live stream after the dedication, and you guys get to hang out, talk about everything you thought of, bring it into your life, try and practice right speech. How do you bring the goodness you've practiced into talking about life and sharing and just being yourself? So we're going to have a meditation, our dedication, and then we'll finish the live stream and have our social time. So I invite everybody to get comfortable. Let's start by having a little shake in our bodies. Oh, you can't really see me jiggling my shoulders, but yeah, shake your shoulders, stretch your neck around, shoulders up and back. Feel your chest up, your spine. Stretch your spine up. Take a deep breath in. Take another deep breath in. In your body, many of you may have found a way of focusing that really works for you. Perhaps you can really feel the movement of the diaphragm in the center of the body, bringing peace to everything through the body. Maybe you feel that single point in the nose, single pointed attention of the breath coming in and out. Maybe you feel the chest expanding and contracting, the subtle movement in the shoulders, and the wave of peace through the whole body. Just a few more deep breaths. Dive into peace in the body. And imagine anytime, anywhere, you can take a strong deep breath and let your body and mind drop into even deeper, awesome peace. Whether it's your tired self choosing to just have a breath to be peace, whether it's in intense high pressure situations, taking a deep breath to find all your power and freedom, whether it's in a conversation, taking a deep breath to step into beautiful love and kindness, or to remind yourself of wisdom and right speech, or any part of your life whenever you need. It's just one breath away to peace and freedom. And yes, as we practice, sometimes it might be 3 or 5 or 10 breaths away. But you can definitely imagine where you'll get to a point practicing these breaths every day that is instant. This awesome peace, this freedom. Every moment of the breath, feel yourself practicing you as this enlightened being. I love you and I care about you, And I'm amazed by this enlightened being within you. Give it permission to be wonderful around people. Maybe family where you've had a lifetime of being a certain way. Give your inner wisdom the permission to be beautiful around them. And all the different scenarios in your life. Let yourself feel the power of bringing your most awesome self to all those different situations. Any situation, every situation, step out of the old feelings, the old beliefs or habits. Connect with your most awesome self and bring that. Be that. So we're going to finish with our dedication. This time that we spent, it's so precious. Throughout the life and all the different people, there's good influences, bad influences. But actively trying to focus on the things that are most helpful, most beautiful for all beings. It's so precious. Let's have more of these moments for you, for each other, for anyone in our lives that we know will be positive, uplifting friends. And even finding ways to share goodness and beauty with anyone else. Let's cherish these moments. Any nice thoughts or helpful ways of being or insight you had tonight, cherish them. Plant them in the forest of your mind. Water them. Give them all the sunlight you can. Love them. Let them be strong and powerful. Let this goodness have all the focus, attention, intention, and effort that it deserves. Time every day. Give it. Give yourself this love, this creativity, this ease, this beauty. We dedicate the practice from now. We cherish it. And we continue to dedicate to our own inner Austin power, Buddha, saint, super philosopher, enlightened being, inspirational super dude. Dedicate that you will let all your best self have all the attention and love that it deserves. That you inspire and liberate others to do the same. That you can laugh a lot. You can be happy and free. And just for a few breaths, imagine when everyone in the world is fully liberated, creating and practicing themselves to be the most happy, loving, brilliant versions of themselves.